Welcome to This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. I'm Ket Justice, your host, and we're joined by Michael Corrigan from Visit Jacksonville. Okay, so tourism was on my mind. I got an email this week that had an interesting idea that we'll dive into. But this week, the CBA was approved in City Council. Last year, everything was kind of focused toward what's happening with a new stadium, renovation or whatever, a new lease. How have things changed, and what does tourism look like when we get to this part of the year here in Jacksonville?
Ken, I always enjoy getting a few minutes to talk to you about tourism. It's something we're extremely passionate about. The Stadium of the Future is the future of tourism in Jacksonville, and I'm super excited. Last night they finished the last piece. Obviously, it goes to the NFL for approval, but we 100% think that's going to happen. But I think what the citizens don't understand is we're not rebuilding a stadium. We're not building a stadium. We're changing an entire community, and last night's vote really did that. Last night, they're investing $94 million into the east side of Jacksonville, and that's going to make it a much larger than just inside the ticket windows of a stadium that we're going to build, and that's what Visit Jacksonville, the Jaguars, and even the City Council is proud about.
Yeah, so CBA is a community benefits agreement, and this $94 million that you're talking about drills down to, a lot of that is east side. And so maybe explain what east side is and how it connects to that stadium or sports district, and then what the potential impact is on tourism or on our community, broadly speaking.
Sure. The east side, as they talk about now, is kind of a lost piece of Jacksonville, and in essence runs from what most people know as Metropolitan Park, past the stadium, past the Arlington Expressway, all the way along the river there in that section of town, down Florida Avenue, and all the way over to Martin Luther King. Incredible area.
Is that Talleyrand?
Yeah, Talleyrand is included in that.
Sure.
And last week I had an opportunity to go to the reopening of the Debs store, which is an original grocery store was there. I've known the Debs family for decades. And to go there and watch the pride of the Debs family, the pride of the community, and the pride of all the partners that helped put that together, it really was the rebirth of the neighborhood. I mean, Mark Lamping of the Jaguars was there. The drum roll from the Jaguars was there. There was that connectivity, although that store is 3/4 of a mile from the stadium. The Jaguars had a huge impact on that particular store, and that's what the CBA is exactly about. It's about rebuilding that neighborhood, bringing more residents back in there, building more housing in there, but making sure when they build the housings, there's amenities there that people need in order to have a healthy, happy life, and that's what's going to be accomplished. And remember, there's a lot of business opportunities that'll be in the sports complex as the stadium gets redone. To have workforce that's right there available to work in the stadium is going to be huge. And everybody knows that if you build workforce and you give people jobs, that reduces crime and that builds neighborhoods. So all those things are coming together to make really a unique area of town, so far separate from what most sports fans recognize as the stadium.
So what's the Visit Jacksonville connection? Now the CBA is passed and it's part of this new budget that'll be effective October 1st. Are you guys just watching, or are there ways that you're participating?
Both. We're watching, obviously, because we want to make sure what was promised to be built will get built, and we're confident of that. We're also willing and interested in partnering to be able to help build that community, because we know when you build sustainable communities, when visitors come in town, they don't just go one place. They travel to a place, they go from the place, and they're always looking for something else unique. We think there's going to be unique things there. We know there are already some unique things there. There's murals on the east side now that Visit Jacksonville promotes on the Visit Jax app and on the visitjacksonville.com website, where we're asking people to go into those neighborhoods today to do that. As you continue to improve those neighborhoods, that's additional tourist assets for visitors to come in and see there. And then the stadium itself, it's going to be absolutely amazing when it's finished. It's in essence going to have a 250,000 square feet of space to be able to use for shows and for conferences and conventions and meetings and everything else. So you're building an incredible asset in the $1 billion plus stadium that we're going to build, and at the same time we're going to build a community. Metropolitan Park getting reactivated again is an incredible opportunity for visitors and residents alike to be able to go enjoy the riverfront here in Jacksonville.
You know, it strikes me what you said, and just I think this connects. Some friends and I wanted to go see a baseball game. He's a Phillies fan, and the Phillies are playing in Miami against the Marlins. You go to that event, a sporting event draws you to that community, but then you're looking for things that are unique and more of an experience. We ended up staying in Little Havana, not too far. It's a 20-minute walk to the stadium or whatever. That's really kind of the idea of what Jacksonville wants to be able to take and say, hey, we've got these unique experiences. Let's invest in them, so when people come to town for a Jaguars game or Jumbo Show or whatever reason that they come, they get that experience and they say, "Ooh, I want to come back. I want to spend my time here." Is that right?
Yeah, and think about when you're going to an event or a concert or sporting event, a concert or baseball game, you want to do more than just drive up, park, walk in,
Right.
do that venue and walk out and go home. And the operators of all these different venues, they want the same thing. They want the fans and the visitors to be able to leave the stadium and go to a restaurant or go to a bar that's near the stadium. That's what real success is. But remember, whether a restaurant or bar or even a hotel can't exist just with local citizens. You've got to have visitors come in and fill that void. So you can't build a restaurant on the east side today, and even after the stadium's done, you can't just build it for the residents and you can't just build it for the visitors. It takes that combination of people coming together to make things very successful, which we've seen many times.
Yeah, and really important what you referenced earlier about workforce. We know that there are opportunities for people, but sometimes where somebody in the workforce has to live is not very close to where they're going to work, and this is a part of changing that dynamic, I think.
And think about even this one little thing. If a person can live near where they work, they don't have to pay for parking if there's a charge for parking where they work. I mean, you can imagine the impact of a parking charge on a hospitality worker
Sure.
that's working inside one of our hotels. That's a major expense that they're going to have to do, or find mass transit, which we do on a regular basis. But it's that having the complete package, the ability to work there, the pride in what you're doing. Imagine the pride of someone working in the stadium when they live 3 blocks or 5 blocks away. The sense of pride of where they're working and the sense of pride that they want to show the visitors is incredibly enhanced.
One of the things I've noticed here in these last several months, especially on the newscasts, it seems like once a week we're talking about, hey, this restaurant or this business has closed down. They'd been in business for a long time. Do you feel like in our area specifically, we've recovered from the pandemic? It seems like a lot of those stories are like, hey, it was really hard during pandemic and maybe they just didn't make it. Have we recovered? Are we on the upswing?
We are definitely on the upswing. I wouldn't say we're totally recovered. I mean, a strong enough workforce has been the number one issue since things returned to normal. We still don't have the absolute workforce we want. We know that restaurants and lodging had to make changes, fundamental changes to their systems. Not doing housekeeping every day in a hotel, maybe not having all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet in a hotel. Restaurants are having to do more, scan the app versus bringing the menu. I mean, you've seen these little things that we've kind of gotten used to now that have changed, but for a large part, they have recovered. Our hotel occupancy and average daily rate and what's called RevPAR, which is revenue per available room, they've all returned to levels that we were at in 2019, which is just before the pandemic. Everything's kind of flattened out. The actual revenue stream is about 1% down, but that's pretty good considering the economic conditions we're in, considering the strain on people's financial situation regularly. So we're happy where we are. Obviously, we're looking forward to it going back up again, but to get back to 2019 levels, I would tell you, the pandemic, the recovery has happened.
I'm interested in this. What's the connection for tourism and this part of the year? So when we get to September and the NFL season starts, we've got college football, and there's a huge college football game that happens in Jacksonville every year. Is this the better time of year for tourism when it comes to Northeast Florida and our region?
It's a great question. It's one of the better times for tourism. The March spring break, when the flowers come out and everything else. Well, when the flowers come out, the visitors come in. I mean, that's annually. That's what's happened. Heavy sports football season is another peak for us that will start fading off as we get towards Thanksgiving. But what we see, and one of the challenges we think we need to work really hard on, and we're going to look to the local community to do, is go back to the stadium conversation. The stadium is getting to be rebuilt. 25 season is supposed to be normal. 26 is a lesser volume, a lesser capacity, and 27 Jaguar games won't be here. Well, what you need to remember is that's not just Jaguar games. That's Jaguar games. That's the Florida-Georgia game in 26 and 27. It's the Monster Truck Show. It's several concerts a year. It's the Gator Bowl. All those events are not going to be in Jacksonville. That's we estimate about 125,000 room nights that won't be happening during that period. So you take the notes of the fact that businesses can't be successful without residents and visitors. When you lose 125,000 room nights, that's some 250,000 people. So you start having an impact on the local residents and the local restaurants and the local stores and the local people that work in these venues. So what we're going to turn to the community and say is, look, help us bring it home, Jacks. And what that means is many of us are involved in associations or corporations that we go out of town for conferences and conventions. When's the last time you invited him to come to Jacksonville? When's the last time we said, hey, we have the best city in the country. Why don't you come here and bring your conference here? And Visit Jacksonville is ready to help you with that. The Tourist Development Council, which oversees the work we do, has given us incentive money to help bring groups here into town during 2026 and during 2027 when the stadium will be at lesser or no capacity at all. We're going to reach out to the community and ask the community, come help us fill that void. Tell us how we can help you bring your group to town. Tell us how you can help bring it home Jacks. And the reality is over half the visitors that come to Jacksonville come for one thing, and that's to visit family and friends. Go to visitjacksonville.com or go to the Visit Jacksonville app. When you bring somebody in town, take them somewhere you've never gone. Go across the Dane Points Bridge or the Main Street Bridge, or go to the beach, or come in town from the beach. But all these things where you can take and help fill that void that's going to happen while we create the best stadium in the state of Florida, it's going to be important.
I love that idea. When they come, take them somewhere you've never been.
Right.
I mean, the default is, oh, I'm going to take them to my favorite place. Well, that's every visitor that comes in. I'm taking them to that same favorite place. I love that idea. Take them somewhere new.
Yeah, it's so important. You know, we just celebrated 904 Day last week, or a couple weeks ago, and I did a speech that morning, and I said, look, this is like when the Super Bowl came to town back in 05. Remember, on special days like that, do something special. If you've gone to a clothing store and always seen your favorite dress, but you never spent the money and bought it, buy that dress. Or if you go to a restaurant and never get dessert, but they look really good, get the dessert, because it does two things. One is it makes your visit more memorable. So it makes it memorable that you went there on that particular day and did that. And the other is you're really helping out a local business. You're giving them that extra income that they really could use on a special day. So it's a real win. So as we look at this unique opportunity in Jacksonville, it won't happen again for decades, to change Jacksonville as we rebuild, as we do the stadium of the future. Let's find a way to really make that special for all of us and really find a way to enhance the local businesses in the process.
Before we go, want to bring this up. It was kind of a crazy idea to me. I got this email, and I mentioned it at the beginning of our podcast here. The subject line is anti-tourism, the secret to boosting tourism. So this notion that you say, yeah, don't come here. They used Mammoth Cave National Park, posting on Facebook saying it's one of the most disappointing U.S. tourist attractions. Does this have any weight? Is this something where we would ever say, nah, you really don't want to come to the River City, and expect it to have the opposite effect?
You could not have asked a better question based on our new advertising campaign that we have. Our new campaign is we're the flip side of Florida. So we're not going as far as what you're just described in that email you received where you said, don't come here. We're not going to go that far. But we are starting to really broadcast the fact that, you know what, we're not like the rest of Florida.
Yep.
We're unique, we're different.
In good ways.
In good ways. and you'll see a number of ads, and they're going to start showing up a little bit more locally than they have in the past, where Jacksonville is proud that we're different than the rest of the state of Florida. You know, we have more nature parks than theme parks. You know, we want to start promoting all the things that we have uniquely different than anywhere else. So we're not going to go as far as tell you not to come, but we're going to tell you when you come here, you're going to see a whole different Florida than you've ever seen before.
Yeah. Are there early returns on that, or are you getting feedback that that's possible?
Fantastic. We do like anybody, any other business. We track everything, and the everything is spiking. The number of website visits, the length of time that visitors stay on our website, the feedback we get from the ad campaign, the click-through rate. We're checking every single thing, and they're all trending up because we in Jacksonville, we know that we have a unique asset. We just need to share it with the world.
Yeah, we do. You've been sharing with me. I appreciate it. Michael Corrigan from Visit Jacksonville, thank you. And thank you for listening or watching this podcast today, This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. We come out every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And you even referenced Joe Debs, the Debs store. That's on our list. We got some great podcasts coming up. Thanks for watching this time.